There's more to your food than simple micronutrients and macronutrients. Okay. You also got to consider how the product is created, how the product is raised, and how the product is packaged in some instances. Okay, so it's always a good start to be reading the nutrition label. Okay, you don't want something that's just jam-packed with salt or has a bunch of unnecessary fats or carbohydrates on it. Okay, so there's also other labels that's on there, and you should also pay equal attention to that as well. Are you an avid reader of food labels? If so, you probably know that the scores of words and phrases that describe the food that you can buy at a grocery store and farmers markets as well. If you're getting food at a farmer's market, I don't know how many labels are going to be on there, but whatever. No, we're not here to talk about the regular vernacular, the nutrients, additives, or claims like low fat, high fiber, or good source of protein. But you can also extrapolate that as well, because also going to be talking about the labeling of organic and how sometimes that's a trademark organic, which doesn't mean what you think it does. Okay, so just because it says it's a good source of protein, that is up to the marketing department what is and what isn't a good source of protein. Could be 2%, could be 25%, it could be anywhere in between. If it's a source, you could argue it's a good source, okay, as opposed to what? A slice of bread? Like, what are we doing? Instead, we are going to explore the ambiguous, mysterious, and often confusing terms used to describe the often fresh, unprocessed foods in our midst. All right, so here are some terms you're going to see regarding animal protein foods. Farmed. Yeah, not good. Okay, and when you think of a farm, right, you think of a barn, maybe some stables, some big open land for the animals that are eventually led to slaughter, to mill about and to be fed on. It's not that wonderful, actually. Farmed is a term used to describe fish that are commercially bred and raised in an enclosed pen, tank, or other space. Also known as aquaculture, farmed fish are less nutritious. Yes, exactly, because they don't have a diverse diet themselves, and they don't have that far to really develop. Okay, they can't get out and exercise because they're just all on top of one another. Can they contain less amounts of omega-3 fatty acids? Yeah, exactly. Wild-caught fish, because of their diet, yes, have more omega-3 fatty acids, which is what you're wanting with fatty fish anyways. Farmed fish are often corn and soy fed, gross, and vegetable oils containing little to no omega-3s. Intake of omega-3s have been shown to help support all of those things that we normally talk about, brain and cardiovascular health. However, noted in one study examined omega-3 content in both farm and wild fish, fatty acid levels in farmed fish can vary wildly and even exceeds those caught in wild fish. But yes, while it can happen, it's not likely to happen. So if you have the opportunity between farmed and wild, go with wild. Wild or wild caught. This refers to fish that are caught in their natural environments, such as rivers, oceans, and lakes. Colorado State University notes that wild-caught fish, which eat a natural diet, tend to have lower levels of saturated fat than farm-raised fish. That means a higher protein content. Wild-caught fish also had less disease and lower levels of contaminants. Free range. All right, free range can also be used to describe any poultry, including eggs and meat products. This is what you think of when you think of farmed, okay? When I was describing that landscape beforehand, this is what you can think of. Okay, animals classified by this have continuous free access to outdoor environments for more than 51% of their lives throughout their normal growing cycle. Another term used to describe this method is pasture raised. And that's important to also note, 51% of their lives is outside, okay? And that's normally during their development process up until the point where they reach maturation. And then it gets a little bit more dicey. Okay, so where do they spend the rest of the 49% of their life? Normally just in a little stable or in a little coop where they're just fattened up. Okay, long and short of it, that's the way that it goes. Okay, but more on that finishing process and why it's important to get grass fed and grass finished. That's what's important. That's what you need to be looking for. But again, that's 2 points down. Organic, referred to meat, poultry, and dairy foods. USDA notes that organic means that the animal from which they originated were raised in living conditions that accommodate their natural behaviors. What does that necessarily mean? Okay, yeah, no, they were raised on a farm. You learn to fight on a farm. And where it goes after that, a little bit more dicey. And no antibiotics or hormones were given, except antibiotics if necessary to treat illness. And the animals grazed in healthy pastures and were fed 100% organic feed and forage. And during the inspection, there wasn't any contact with artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives before packaging. Yep, there's a bunch of other loopholes when it comes to antibiotics or hormones as well. So whenever necessary and whenever you can find something that says raised without hormones or antibiotics throughout its entire life cycle, because you can also find that as well, that would be more helpful, because again, there's more loopholes when it comes to being certified organic, because you also get subsidies from the government because of that. Hate to take the nihilistic approach, but sometimes you got to bend the rules in order to play the game. That's the way that they work it, okay? But if you look for certain things like free range, organic, never raised with hormones or antibiotics, and then again, grass-fed, grass-finished, that's what you're looking for. So let's dive into that. According to the USDA, grass-fed animals must consume grass and forage, which can include cereal grain crops in the pre-grain state. Yes, before they become basically nutritionally vapid. Exclusively after they are weaned, yes, off of mother's milk and then onto a regular cow, buffalo, chicken diet. Grass finished refers to cattle who eat grass their entire lives without supplemental food. That's what you want. Research shows that grass-fed cattle have higher levels of phytonutrients as well as vitamin A and E than do grain-fed cattle. Yeah, no, exactly, and it's normally a leaner cut of beef if you end up getting that. So you also get less bad fatty acids, okay? That's why you get that higher grain or higher omega-6 content out of a grain-fed, corn-fed diet as opposed to a grass-fed diet. And you get more omega-3s as well as the diverse micronutrient profile. That's kind of what you want, right? So when on the plant side, all right, so hydroponics, I think if you got a stoner friend, you probably know about hydroponics. It's a method in which plants are grown without soil. Plants produce this in a way to use less water than those grown in soil, plus they grow faster, have higher yields than soil-based approaches, and can be grown year-round, and they can be grown both indoors and outdoors. No, don't worry about that tomato tree. I'm sure it'll bud it any day. Organic, again, probably through the exact same thing, but a little bit of a twist. Organic can be certified to have been grown in soil void of prohibited substances, pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, for 3 years before harvest. Interesting. And none can be grown or handled with genetically modified organisms or GMOs. In the multi-ingredient foods, the products cannot contain artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives, and ingredients must be organic, with a few minor exceptions. Oh, really? Lower levels of toxic metal cadmium can be found in organic grains, and significantly lower levels of pesticide. But yeah, I'm glad for this little editor's note, because that's something else. Okay, you go to your local markets, okay, specifically farmers markets, they're pointing out right here. Talk to your farmers about their growing practices. Even if they aren't certified organic, they might employ organic practices in their farming. Yeah, no, exactly. Just by virtue of them not being on a commercial farm, they're probably employing these type of tactics. Okay, they might be using grain or corn to raise their raise their cattle, raise their livestock. That's highly possible. More likely than not, you're not going to be getting all of those industrial chemicals on top of it. So again, whenever you have a local solution, it's more than likely beneficial to your diet. Biodynamics. All right, what the heck is that? Biodynamic farming utilizes a organic approach, but also emphasizes the interrelationship between soil, plants, and animals in a holistic manner. I want to die. The goal of biodynamic farming is to restore, enhance, and maintain the soil and ecology, including wildlife and plant biodiversity. Those who enjoy plants should be one with the plants. Grow in a biodynamic environment may also reap the health benefits of organic products rich in nutrients. So what's the bottom line, huh? Generally, what animals and plant crops. What? No, I'll stop that. Raised using organic free range, wild, hydroponic, or biodynamic methods are healthier food sources. Wow. Gain a better understanding for those terms and look for them when you're shopping for yourself and your family. Exactly. Those are the tactics I employ. I was glad I was able to share them with you. So hopefully you can employ them yourself. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Coswello. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.